lady. Now, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, or APGA, has been embroiled in a vigorous leadership brawl with confusing, often incoherent political narratives about who the legitimate chairman of the party is. Everyone thought the tussle had been resolved after the Supreme Court declared Chief Edozie Njoku as the national chairman, but it seems as if the other declared chairman, Victor Oye, is still refusing to vacate the seat and continues to occupy the party's secretariat. A judgment delivered by the High Court in Abuja intended to safeguard the rule of law has warned Mr. Oye and the Electoral Commission INEC that they could be in contempt if they do not obey the order recognizing Chief Njoku as the national chairman. Protracted political infighting has been a contributing reason for the party's lackluster performance in a series of recent elections. So is it all sorted now, or are there more legal hurdles to scale? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Chief Edozie Njoku, who for now appears to be the court-recognized chairman of APGA. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much indeed, Charles, and thank you for inviting me.
Where do things stand at the moment in this protracted leadership tussle in APGA? I mean, it's been years now, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been about 5 years now, and I like your intro. It says we are the court-recognized. And it's very, very sad because we know that once the Supreme Court rules on something, it comes to an end. This fight in APGA will show the rest of Nigeria. I was listening very carefully to the man from SDP. And the biggest problem we have in politics here is the internal democracy of parties. Big dollars have taken over politics in Nigeria, whereby people just come into a political party, they don't go through primaries, they buy their way, and they think that's the norm. They go to INEC to buy INEC, they go to the police to buy the police, they go to the courts to buy the court. And I said something about, a year ago now, November, I was arrested, said I forged the Supreme Court judgment. I went, then they now charged, when they saw they didn't have evidence, they charged me to court. And at the point of giving me bail, they now said I should wait for 2 days before the ruling of the bail is done. And I had to stay in prison for 2 days. And what they wanted me to do was to go to prison and then sign something, as they were bragging in Anambra, that I would sign off being national chairman. And that's a lie. Even if I was there, even if they had faked it and I was there, I would never have done that, because I know that the problem Nigeria politics has is internal democracy. And once we don't get that right, we have a serious problem.
So where things are now is that INEC has been ordered to recognize you as the national chairman within 14 days of the judgment being delivered last week.
Okay, not quite that. There was a judgment that has already been delivered since the 6th of June.
But this was an enforcing judgment.
Yes, we now had to go to court,
to the High Court.
To the High Court to enforce the Supreme Court judgment, which it did. And now they refused to obey that one as well, and decided they rushed off to the Court of Appeal when they gave the order. Now, a short story, an order was given by a court for me to stop doing anything, Oye to stop doing anything. I can't have a Congress, and they can't have a Congress. Within that period of time, we called the party together, had a INEC meeting, and the INEC said, within all this problem, let's have an extension of time for 1 year to see if we can sort out all this problem. But what Oye them did, there was a gentleman who was the head of media in INEC, Festus Okoye. They invited him. He's a National Commissioner for Media. They invited him for a convention, went live on channels, when there was also this court order, which they're going for contempt now, a court order stopping them from doing that. They went and decided to do a convention. And the judge said, you can't do that. That is a court order stopping that. I've not given my judgment. About 3 weeks later, he gave the judgment, and I asked them to move out of the office, asked me to take over my position as the national chairman of the party. They ignored that. They ignored the order. The judge has been very magnanimous because he should have sent them to jail by now, but he gave them another 14 days. The 14 days is ending next week. And if they don't, they'll be committed to jail.
Well, let's just get some background to this, because as I said, it's been dragging on for
about 5
years. I mean, what is the background to this stormy affair? You were elected as national chairman, but it went belly up.
The original convention of APGA, if you read in the Supreme Court judgment, if you read in the judgment of was done in Owerri.
Well, a lot of our audience haven't read the judgment,
Okay.
so you need to sort of put it in very simple terms.
A convention was done in Owerri.
Right.
And as the judgment was, as the convention was being done in Owerri, Congress had normally done before that. When Oye and Obiano was the governor, they saw they had lost out in the congresses. They decided to scrap those congresses and scrapped it and went and did a fresh one out of time, which we went to court. And then after that, they went and used those congresses to do a convention in Oka, in the government house, while we were doing the real convention in Owerri. I emerged in Owerri, and Oye emerged in the one with the governor, the one he wanted his people down there. And we went on a long, protracted court battle till it ended in the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court said that everything about Apoka happened in Owerri, and Oye's name should be deleted from the judgment. We felt it was over, but they still now decided to continue again because they have a little bit of change.
So basically, they've gone back to court. Because I'm wondering what
on this particular,
what if they don't accept what
on this
has
particular one,
now, and they go on appeal
again. The sad
again.
thing is that they rushed off to the Court of Appeal on this one where the contempt is, which is on the orders of court.
Right.
They rushed off to this Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal struck it out. So they have not gone on appeal back to the Supreme Court because they know they can't go back to the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court will slam them down because Supreme Court has ended everything. So this particular one where the court has ordered them to obey the orders of court has not gone to the, they
haven't appealed against
They've appealed
that
it and lost.
Right.
They've appealed it in the Court of
Right.
Appeal.
And you don't expect them to
not on that one.
to
They are
do
now
anything
going on.
else.
They've now decided to go on appeal on the main judgment in the
Right.
Court of Appeal, which is a judgment of the court saying they should obey the Supreme Court judgment. After that, no matter what happens, they will still get to the Supreme Court, whether them or us. But the most important thing we keep saying to INEC, for example, what happened in Bayelsa when Silva was, something happened, they took on Silva's name. As soon as they got to the Court of Appeal and they changed, they took on the other one. So why have they been ignoring Supreme Court, ignoring the strong orders of court? We're saying, no, you can't keep doing that. You've got to obey the court and allow the courts to decide.
I have to say that it sounds,
It sounds very
extraordinarily
confusing.
complicated.
And that's how they play the game, because they just want people to be confused. It's so straightforward. Supreme Court has ruled that I'm the national chairman. It should end there.
But is it fair to say that these internal party issues have really set APGA back in terms of asserting itself politically in this country and has weakened the party at the polls?
You see, I will agree with you, and I feel that it's purposely done. Now, from the time this party was started in 2002, I was the first vice national chairman of the party. We had a vision for the party. But what happened after power was taken by some of our brothers in Anambra State? They decided to turn the party into an Anambra party, which many of us have said, no, it can't be like that. It shouldn't even be just a Southeastern party. But we should be strong in the Southeast first, then reach out to the rest of Nigeria and say, listen, this is our manifesto, this is what we have for Nigeria. But Anambra, you can also see how when they tried to thwart this by doing a convention out of place, Soludo went and got his essay to said he's now the national chairman. What type of thing is that? It just shows how the disregard they have for Africa. So everybody has gone into their homes and waiting to see when the party is taken over by the members of the party. When you come into Imo State, nobody even came out for the elections for APGA. Nobody supports whatever they are doing. They're waiting for the true leadership of APGA.
Right, but the political muscle in APGA, which you could argue is the governorship of Anambra State, because that's where you've got your political power base. That's not in support of you.
Yes, he's not in support. What I keep saying to people is that when we started the party, we had no governor, and we got Anambra. We also got Imo. You know, we started getting places because we were more. But as soon as that power comes into it, what we need is a governor who can relax, go into looking after Anambra. Let the party run as a political party. Don't come and say you want to choose everything in the party. You want the party to be an appendage. It doesn't work like that. And that's the problem we're having in Nigerian politics, where you have governors that are so powerful. They come into, they take over everything. It shouldn't be like that.
Right.
Parties should be strong enough to be able to put down what the party really does want.
So assuming you get past all of this, which presumably
we
you
have,
hope you will, what is your plan now for restoring the party to rights and for uniting a clearly very divided party?
We've already started that because in the past 2 weeks we've been talking, especially with some of those people on the other side, where we need, we can't just move on like that. We need to bring back everyone into the fold of APGA, even those who have left and joined PDP, joined APC, and discuss what is our vision, what do we really want APGA, what was APGA created for in the first place. We need to do all those things, but most importantly, we need to go back to the grassroots and and apologize to them for the mess we've put them through for a long period of time, because a lot of people in the Southeast have a very strong love for APGA. They love APGA. But all this rubbish we're doing is so embarrassing. Even when this problem was done in 2021, when the Federal High Court said it was a Owerri Convention, I called Oye them and told them, listen, let me stand aside. Let Oye stand aside. Let's come together and get a new national chairman. They refused. They have their own thing. They feel that it's an Anambra thing in Kabunkai. It's not Anambra's. It is a political party that people in the South have a very strong affinity to, and we can't keep disappointing them like that.
Right. They could argue that your tenure has expired.
Well, at the beginning, I explained something. In our constitution, the INEC has you could extend. You could have an extension of up to a year. Victor Mayor did that, extended for 6 months. We extended for a year to see if we can sort out this problem. That was done in May. We informed INEC and everyone about it. So the very minute we get our recognition, yes, we're on an extension of time, we'll call for congresses. And that's why we're talking to them now, that we're going to do proper congresses and a proper convention. If I'm removed in the convention, good, but let it be democratic. Let it not just be someone electing someone and saying he's our national chairman. It shouldn't be like that.
Well, we certainly want to see how all this turns out.
Yeah.
I want to thank you very much indeed for coming in. Chief Edozie Njoku is the court-recognized chairman of APGA. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.